friends, Courtney here today to talk to you about Frugal to financial independence. And I am frugal for many reasons. I just don't like spending money on things that I don't find value in. If I go out and spend money on something, I want to feel like it was worth it. And so also I am frugal because I believe in simple living for the betterment of our planet, our mental health, and our well-being. The more we have, the more stuff we have to take care of, the more stress we have. Also, we are using, as Americans, we're using so much of the world's resources. If we live in a country like America, just by the nature of all the things that we have, we are using more of the world's resources, and it does take from those that are less fortunate. So I like to think about that. I like to live with that value in mind, that I'm being frugal, I'm being mindful. Simple things like I just turned the lights on in my house, but there are no other lights on in my house just to shoot this video. I use natural light, but I'm gonna give you 10 other things that I do or have done recently. If you like content like this, please like and subscribe. The first one is to take your drinks with you in a reusable bottle. I know this one has been beat to death, but obviously I see people still buying cases of bottled water. And when I worked in early childhood, there was a condition where little boys, forgive me, I'm trying to, hopefully nobody gets offended by this, but little boys' testicles were not dropping. So my degree is early childhood education. And it's been linked back to all the microplastics in our diet. When water sits out in the sun, bottled water, the microplastics, and in America, we allow those types of plastics, BPA and things like that, they get into our water, into our system. So get yourself a water filter and get yourself a reusable cup that's ideally not plastic, and use that thing over and over again. I use a stainless steel one, and take it with you. And then when you go, only reserve so I do sometimes get a drink at a restaurant. Occasionally I will get a diet soda. No, they're not good for me, but I kind of limit that as a treat. And a lot of times I just drink water. I only get the soda if we're at like a Tacos for Life or Panera type of place. Well, usually not even then. 90% of the time I just drink water. But taking your drink with you, quit buying drinks at stores. That will help cut down on plastic use and money and reduces the environmental impact. The next thing is this is more of a frugal habit, but I shop a lot of times at Trader Joe's and places like that. And like the other day for gifts, I was able to find some organic, vegan, sustainable dark chocolate and some flowers. Flowers were $3.99 at Trader Joe's, really cute little bouquet. And then chocolate was $1.99. So for $6 per person, I was able to get multiple moms in my life, some friends, and some family members. I think I ended up getting 4 or 5 bouquets with chocolate. So shopping places where you can get deals on things, and also where they are organic and sustainable if possible. I don't always buy organic, but I do, especially if it's affordable. I always try to buy it. I look for it on sale. I try to buy things that are like they no harm to animals. I am vegan. I'm not trying to push that on anybody, but things that say, not tested on human or animals, free of whatever toxins, parabens, and things like that. So just be mindful to shop in places where you can get those things more affordably, or buy the brand that's more affordable. Like these were the TJ or Trader Joe's brands. At Whole Foods, they have their house brand, and they're generally going to be more sustainable as well and cheaper. Number 3 is use what you have. So I am going to a funeral on Monday, and I'm going to go through my dresses and find one that I have. A lot of times I ask myself before I buy anything, do I have anything that could serve this purpose? In my guest room, there is I have an old china cabinet that my son busted the glass out on accident, and I had to take all the glass out of it. So I put it inside a closet, and I use it for shelving, to store things. Like, can I use this for a different purpose than its original intent? And a lot of times you can. Most of the curtains around my house are things that I've repurposed or I've purchased used, but trying to use what you have in a different way. A lot of times we just need to clean. We just need to clean our house, move things around a little bit, get rid of some stuff so things don't look so cluttered. Try getting rid of some stuff and cleaning before you get something new. I recently did get new bar stools and some new curtains in my living room to lighten it up. And I'm giving the old bar stools to my daughter. The bar stools that I have were given to me by my mother, so they're going through 3 generations. The next one is to buy plant-based or not processed foods, to try to eat more natural. I say plant-based, but really it's just food. A lot of the things when I'm serving other people and they know I'm vegan, they're like, well, I don't want to eat your vegan food. But I'm like, no, it's just food, like rice, lentils, beans. It's the same food you eat. It just happens to also be considered vegan or plant-based. So cutting out the meat, dairy, and eggs will save you a ton of money. And if you don't want to go completely plant-based, and I know it can be hard depending on where you live. I live in the South, which is 10 times harder. I feel like, because when I go other places in the country, it's really easy for me to eat. But here it's really hard. It's very not part of our culture. So just eating more plant-based meals helps you save a ton of money. It's better for the planet, and it reduces all the processing and things like that that happen that take more energy. So things like tonight, what am I having tonight? I'm having a vegan macaroni and cheese that I made with a potato, carrot, nutritional yeast, and cashews. I just try to buy whole foods. Number 5 is take your bags and recycle. So I do, here we still have plastic bags. It's common. But when I do get plastic bags, and I will say this, I do this intentionally, and I might get some hate for this, but I have to change the cat litter, right? And I have to have liners for my trash cans that are not just paper. So I use those plastic bags for the liners and for the cat litter. But I take my bags quite often as well and reuse those. I take a cold hot bag for the cold things, and then I take a reusable bag like to the health food store where I went today. Using that, and then I recycle. Recycling isn't easy where I live because I live rural, but I take all of our plastics and all of our cardboard and any cans we get, I take all of those to the recycling center, and then I reuse the glass jars for like takeaways and things like that when I'm giving soup to people or we're packing food for my husband to go camping. Number 6 is live smaller. Choose to live in a smaller home if you're going to make that decision, one that fits your needs, but not a gargantuan house. We had the McMansion craze of the 80s and 90s and the preppy era, and I think a lot of people have gotten away with that. And then we went to the tiny home craze. When my husband and I got married, we built this house. It's like 1,773 square feet, and I really wish we had gone even smaller, but at the time we still had a kid at home. We use every bit of it because we use one bedroom for our workout room. One bedroom that I'm in right now is an office. The other bedroom is our guest room, and then our bedroom. But the house is also very square and straight, and I try to use recycled materials when possible, or organic, or not organic, but sustainable products where possible. Like all the wood in my house that you see on the inside walls was what they call the seconds. And so they're like the leftovers that they couldn't use for lumber to sell to like Lowe's and places like that. It's still the wood that was cut down, but it's the second grades. The next thing, and my whole kitchen is recycled. I took a kitchen out of orthodontist house and we recycled all the cabinets. The next thing is to go economical with your car for less maintenance. This one was hard for me because I had saved up enough money to buy cash for an SUV. And I'm going to be perfectly honest, I love a Volvo. I've had several used ones. They drive great, but they were always in the shop. And I may have just gotten unlucky, except for one that we had, but my son wrecked it. So we've had several, and I really wanted a Volvo, but one thing I knew about them is the maintenance is so much more, especially where I live. It's an hour away to the furthest dealership. The tires are double. Everything is more expensive. So I got an economical car that is good on gas mileage. I have a CRV, a 2018 CRV, and I knew the maintenance cost would be less on it over the long term, and I knew that it would use less gas. I get about 34 miles to the gallon. So I did look at the hybrid, but it with only being 2 more miles per gallon and them having a hybrid tax where I live, and the insurance was higher, I decided it wasn't an economical enough choice. So thinking about that, and also with your vehicle, grouping your errands together, I specifically schedule in days where I do not leave the house. And then when I go to town, I create a route for all of my errands, and I try to do those things when I'm in specific areas to reduce my driving, and I have greatly. I probably drive about 15,000 miles a year, and I was driving about 32 when I was working outside of the house. Number 8 is shop the sales and clearance and resale. So this is just kind of more of a shopping. So for frugality, a lot of times I shop the sales. So if I go to the store, like I was at the health food store today, and I wanted to get some beans, canned beans, and the organic ones from one certain brand were $4, but the house brand organic was $1.29. The store brand at Kroger's is only 89 cents, but they don't have the BP free liner. And am trying to like clean up the toxins in my life a little bit. So I try to shop the sales. When I was in Kroger the other day, they had my Ezekiel bread on clearance. They had frozen spinach, frozen broccoli, so I stocked up on that. But I try to be mindful of shopping the sales first and then eating around what's on sale. I know this is an old topic, but it cannot be overstated as to how much money this can save. Also, I try to stretch my times between going to the store out and use up almost all of what I have before I do a big run. And then in between, like I'll do a big grocery shop once a month. It might be $250 to $400. And then just in between, I'll pick up fresh items. And so I'll buy less. It's still a lot more than it used to be. It used to be $50 to do a short run. Sometimes it's as much as $100. And that is not just food, but toiletries, household items, shampoo, body care, and dog food and cat food. So that's everything together. And then I shop resale for 90% of my clothes. So this year, because I believe in being a low consumer, I'm not a non-consumer, but a low consumer, trying to consume less resources. Then I don't have to have everything new. I'm going to show y'all something I got. I'll show you 2 things I got. So I will sell my clothes at a resale shop, and then every season I take in old clothes that I don't wear anymore, and then I get new clothes with the money. So I get this cute little bag, little backpack purse, $5 at the resale shop. I'll take my shoes off. I got these cute little shoes, really nice shoes, a really nice brand, Yocono, made in Spain. Very, very nice quality. $18, I believe, is what I paid for these. Maybe not even that much. Very comfortable. And but I've got a really high-end shirt, a pair of blue jeans, and I got another purse or tote. And altogether, it would have been $70, but I ended up paying $35. And what I find is I often get the higher end boutique quality clothing and things at the resale shop. Like the clothes I get from the resale, I end up always liking even more. So shop resale. It helps with the waste and overusing the resources, and it saves you money. And you might end up getting actually nicer stuff. Number 9 is do it yourself if you can. So lately, my dogs have arthritis, so I've been trying to make more of my own dog food and dog treats for my dogs. I don't put meat in there. What I do is I mix a little bit of their dry kibble. I cook up a big batch of lentils and rice, and to that I add vegetables that are safe for dogs, a little bit of olive oil, and then I get eggs from my neighbor for $3 a dozen, and I crack an egg on top of there. I cook it for them. Even though I don't eat those, I can get them cheaply because we live rural and farm, and I put an organic egg on there, or I put some flax meal and potatoes in there. No garlic, no onions, no raisins or dried fruits or anything like that. But carrots, potatoes, sweet potatoes. Sometimes I add a little bit of kale or broccoli or spinach, but not a lot, just because of the oxalates and some of those. And that saves a lot of money. And I do that maybe a third of the month here recently. And then I also made some dog treats where I just took a ripe banana, a little applesauce, some oats, and some peanut butter, and mixed it together and dropped it into cookies. And then I take one cookie and I break it in thirds. But anything that you can do yourself, I still have someone that helps me clean the house, because I used to clean houses for a living and I hate doing it. I get so super burned out. So I do clean my house every other week, but I have someone who comes twice a month who does the deep cleaning. And I kind of have daily rituals. But that saves a ton of money. And when we close our business, I plan on cleaning my house myself, or having her at least once a month to help me. But just anything you can do yourself. I have been using less cleaners, and I've been just using soap and water to clean as much as possible, like Castile soap, like Dr. Bronner's. And then I will sweep, vacuum, and mop and do things like that. You don't need a bunch of cleaning products. They're not good for you. I wait until the washer and dryer, till I have a full load before I do them. I have a load that's been in there for 2 days waiting to be done, but it's not full yet. I do the same thing with the dishes. I always do a full load. I do not let water run when we're brushing our teeth or washing dishes. I'll put the sink about a third of the way up while I'm washing dishes while I do that. Then I'll put all the soapy dishes over to the right, rinse them off, and just try not to let the water run. The number one is 10 is, sorry, I don't know if I said one. Number 10, and I need to finish this up or it's never going to load, is I have cheap hobbies. And I've done this on purpose. I taught yoga for 23 years, and yoga is expensive, but because I taught it, I also would take it at places like the Y. I used to work at the Y, but before that, I would take it at places like the Y. I would use video, DVDs back in the day. I practice now with YouTube. I do most of my exercise with YouTube or on my treadmill that was gifted to me. A lot of my workout equipment I have purchased at yard sales. Reading is my hobby. I do a lot of reading, and cooking is my hobby, eating healthy. So I love to take walks in nature. Having cheap hobbies is a great way to save a ton of money. I don't really desire to do things that cost a lot of money. I never have. And maybe I just never developed them because I didn't have the money. But finding things that don't cost a lot of money can be super helpful with your free time. And with that, I'm going to go make dinner, feed my dog. I'm going to go eat leftovers. That's another one. Don't waste food. And my leftovers aren't food that I ate on my plate. It's food that when I cook, I always make a little extra. Having leftovers for dinner, that saves on cooking fuel as well. I'm going to go feed my animals their homemade food, and then I'm going to go read my book tonight. So have a wonderful evening. Thank you for being with me. Frugal to financial independence, you guys.